This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Tampa Bay Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction after every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields. Make sure you go follow me on Twitter at Johnny10Shields. Another tough one for the Rays. That's the best way to describe it. It was kind of a group effort in a loss. We normally talk about group efforts in a win. This was a group effort in a loss. We're going to talk about how this team desperately needs the All-Star break. We're talking how Baez was not bad again. He put the Rays in a position to succeed. Another quality start from Shane. We're talking about the bullpen is absolutely taxed right now. Then we're going to look ahead. But first, we have to talk about how this offense, for the most part, tonight just looked asleep. And yes, they're unlucky, but man, they did not put up much of a fight tonight.
This is what you'll be talking about.
For a team that had 3 of the 5 hardest hit balls of the day, all of which, by the way, or at least two of which resulted in outs for the Rays. Actually, all of which resulted in outs for the Rays. It kind of tells the story for the game. The Rays' expected bat average was over 260. The Tigers was less than 230, to put it in perspective. But at the end of the day, the Rays only mustered 1 extra base hit, which was a Chandler Simpson double. Outside of that, it was kind of, sticking in a hit there. And when you look at this lineup, Yandy got the infield single in the first. Aranda got the RBI single. Junior 0-4. Josh Lowe 0-3 with a walk. Magnum 0-4. Cabby 0-3. That heart of the order that's been so good for the Rays when they're healthy had just nothing going for them today. And I mean, you really could see the absence of Brandon Lau, and you could really see the absence of potentially Ha-Seong Kim today, because that middle of the lineup just lacked juice, just lacked that little umph that the Rays needed. Chandler Simpson continues just to be, I've been using the word revelation a lot, but he is continuing to be one. But this was one of the weakest lineups the Rays have put out in a while, and there's nothing to do about it. This is what they have to put out because of where they're at injury-wise, where they're at play personnel-wise, because Ha-Seong Kim not being able to play the last 3 games has really sucked, because Cabby, as good as he's been, he's not a second baseman. We saw him with another error today. Thankfully, he didn't lead to anything. But this lineup scores in the third, and they only mustered 5 hits. The Tigers had more extra base hits than the Rays had hits today. And I kind of feel for Shane Baez. It happens during the course of the season. But after the Rays scored in the second, they went 1-2-3 in the fourth. After the Rays scored in the third, the Tigers scored in the second. After the Rays scored in the third, they went 1-2-3 in the fourth. They got Simpson. Simpson had his double in the fifth, but that was it. Only 4 batters in the fifth. 1-2-3 in the sixth. 1-2-3 in the seventh. Had the Simpson single in the eighth, and then Josh Lowe walked. But the lack of pressure that the Rays put on, I mean, the Tigers starter just had a nice, tidy day of 68 pitches. It only took him 68 pitches to go through 6 innings. It's domination. And that's why the title is They Got Dominated. And it was ugly. And it was not competitive. And you can look and point at the hard hit balls that they hit. But at the end of the day, it's about what landed. And what landed for the Tigers was 3 home runs. And that was the difference. Every single one of the Tigers' RBIs today came off of, except for one, the difference-making RBIs, I should say, came off the home runs. You had the Baez one in the second, and the one that was really the dagger for me was the start of the back-to-back home runs in the seventh, which is our turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Rays bullpen has now given up 2 runs in 5 straight games. They have just been on an historically bad streak. So they've allowed 44 earned runs the last 15 games, 2 runs, multiple runs in 5 straight, and 8 of the last 10. We've started to see why Paul, hasn't been pitching. And right away, he's actually really good in the second inning. But the first inning, Keith hits a home run, and Keith was insane for the Tigers today. And then, Torres gets out, and then McKinstry hits the home run. And those two are their turning point because you're still in the game, right? You still do something. The Tigers bullpen doesn't have a bunch of world beaters by any means, but that was just like the final dagger. After that, the way the Rays offense was going, you kind of knew it was over going into the last 2 innings. And, it ended up being accurate. But when you look at this Rays offense, the Rays had, let's count them out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 balls hit 100 miles per hour or harder. One of them resulted in a hit. So, yes, it was unlucky, but it was also, at the end of the day, the Tigers were able to put much more pressure on the Rays and that led to the Rays not being able to produce enough offensively. And when you come back to look at this game, you're going to circle the extra base hits. And that's the stat that stood out the most today. The Rays with 1, the Tigers is what felt like 1 every inning. And it kind of felt like the Rays were kind of asleep for the most part. They had a tough series in Minnesota. They come to Detroit, and we talked about yesterday how good Detroit is at home. They're the best team in baseball, best home team winning percentage-wise in baseball. And the Rays honestly got smacked. And I'll be interested to see what the Rays comeback, what the Rays' response will be, because Toronto's going to win again today. The Rays are going to be 4 games back to Toronto in the AL East, which if you had told me that a week ago, I would have said that you're crazy, but that's where we're living in right now. What's the Rays' response going to be tomorrow? What's Ryan Pepia, who's going to be on the mound for the Rays, versus Jack Flaherty? What's that response going to be like for the Rays? I'll tell you what it needs to be, and it needs to be a good one. This team needs the All-Star break badly right now. They just need a little bit of a reset. They're going through it right now. And the Rays, that's why I said, if you guys remember during their win streak, that they need to get as many games above 500 as possible, because you're going to have one of these stretches. The Rays, since they swept the Royals, have only won 3 games, and they have lost 7. So, they're 3-7 in the last 10. And that's why, again, I said they need to stack these wins, because when they go through a slump like this, you need to be able to have kind of some breathing room to survive. And they have, because when you go and look at the standings, and the Rays are still going to be in a position to be multiple games up, in the wild card, right? Right now, depending, I don't think Boston is winning today. They're still going to be 3 games up on a playoff spot. And that's kind of the buffer that they've built with that's the buffer they built from playing so good earlier during that run. But the Red Sox are right on their heels. They're going to win again tonight. The Rays are closer than the Red Sox in the standings than they are the Blue Jays. So, the Rays have a big series in Fenway coming up after Detroit. But, I think tomorrow's a really, really big game for the Rays. And I think they have maybe the starkest starting pitching advantage that they've had in a while. And I think they need to take advantage of it. But we're going to talk about Shane Baz and the bullpen more right after this. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is much more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center, so you can track all your accounts and investments and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. And again, the best thing about Monarch to me, there's a specific category, takeout or subscriptions, and it shows that it's added up more than you expected, and it shows how you can get rid of it. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. So if you guys are in the live, make sure to leave a comment. We'll be getting to them momentarily. But let's talk about Shane Baz, because I thought Shane Baz is a really, really good thing. Shane Baz, it went 6 innings, had 16 swing and misses, had 7 strikeouts, had the 7 hits. But I always say, if you go 6 innings, giving up 3 runs or less, which is a quality start, you put the Rays in a position to win. And that's exactly what Shane Baz did. If a Rays pitcher goes out and does that every single game, you 100% take it. The offense did not do enough for Shane Baz today, which we already documented. But Shane Baz continues to show out. I mean, it was funny. I saw someone commented before I came live, and I saw it too. How BA talked about the knuckle curve and how good it's been, and Shane Baz like immediately gives up a home run on it, and it was just that kind of night. That kind of night for the Rays. But obviously, the 2-run home run hurt. Shane in the first, Javy Baez got him to make it 2-0. But Riley Green, maybe it's just when he plays the Rays. I mean, this guy's like a superhero. I mean, he just kills the Rays. He killed him at Steinbrenner, and he's not as bad today, but had another RBI single in the 5th off Baz. But all you can ask your starting pitcher is to put you in a position to win. That's exactly what Shane Baz did. So no arguments from me on Shane Baz's performance today. But when you look at the bullpen, just continues to struggle, man. The bullpen, more than any team, any unit, needs the All-Star break. But they will be as rested as they've been in a while. For the first time since, I don't even know if I can pinpoint a date. I can't. It's during I think one game in Minnesota and one game in the Athletic Series. Uceta, Orsi, Clevenger, Fairbanks, they're all not, of course, they're healthy, but they're all rested. At least have 1 day of rest. And Uceta's case, he has like 2. Orsi has 1. Clevenger has, it'll be 2 at that point. And we talked about it, especially with Uceta, how taxing their workload was. So these guys are as rested as they've been. So that gives the Rays really an advantage tomorrow and the next day, finishing this series out in Detroit with hopefully their A bullpen for both of those games, depending on how Cash utilizes things. And, we saw Mason Montgomery get sent down today, which I actually think was really good. Let him go work on stuff. With his stuff, he should not have a 5.3 ERA or whatever he has. So, again, that only leaves the Rays with one lefty option in the pen. But I think that there's more guys that you don't have to hold your breath with. You're only down to maybe 2 or 3 of those guys right now. But the bullpen definitely was taxed coming into this game, but they get a little bit of relief because of, like I said, Uceta, Clevenger, Orsi, Fairbanks, all available to pitch tomorrow, which will be big. But if the game's 5-1 like it was today, it's not really going to matter. So let's hope that the Rays can figure that out, because if you're going to take out any positive from this game, so that the Rays only had to use 2 pitchers, which we know has been a problem for the Rays in the past. But let's look ahead. We already talked about the game tomorrow. We already talked about Jack Flaherty and how the Rays got on him yesterday. So I'll briefly talk about it again. I mean, the Rays got him for 7 runs and 2 1/3 a few starts ago, and he hasn't been good. So they gave him an extra day's rest. Let's hope that does not help him too much as Ryan Pepiot start for the Rays. And I was really impressed with how Pepiot battled his last time out. I mean, he went 6 innings picking up the win, 4 hits, 2 runs, giving up, and 9 strikeouts. And I remember vividly him just not having his best stuff and just battling. And we'll need him to continue to do that. The Rays have the starting pitching advantage tomorrow. Pepiot is a much better pitcher than Jack Flaherty, and he needs to, hopefully give us run his Ryan Pepiot outings. And we hope this offense bounce back. Hope that Brandon Lau is in the lineup tomorrow, and that lineup gets just a little bit more beefy tomorrow, because this was as frail as the Rays lineup has looked in a little bit. So I think a big key is scoring first. I was listening to the radio broadcast for a lot, and Neil kept talking about how good the Tigers have been when they score first, and they scored first again today. So look for the Rays. I mean, they haven't scored first, it feels like, a little bit. Even when they came back against the Twins, seems like the Twins always got that first one. Scoring first will be big for the Rays tomorrow. But let's get to the comments. Let's go to Dante Hamilton. He says, this is something exactly what I was talking about. BA screwed Baez when he's talking about how he hasn't given up a home run on his knuckle curve this season. Yeah, and then Baez bit him on one. But, it happens. It's still been one of the best pitches. I was happy to see that cutter usage is still where it is. I mean, that pitch has really come like full circle for Shane Baz, and has really, I think, kind of led to his turnaround. As though to Gary says, not much of a positive spin on this one. The Detroit Tigers showed why they're the best team in the AL right now. He's the operative phase right now. May not translate that way through October. The Tigers have some flaws as a team, but man, they are well coached. They have some really solid arms in the starting rotation. And I tell you what, man, they don't have that guy that's going to be, a headline grabber, right? They don't have like a Fernando Tatis, Aaron Judge, Ellie De La Cruz, Paul Sciambi. I mean, pick your guy, but I mean, they just have a bunch of really good baseball players. And whatever happened with Hinch, the manager for them with the Astros, and the cheating, is, it's not whatever, but hey, everyone has their own opinion on it. He's still a really good manager, and he's showing that again with the Tigers right now. As you go to Gary again, he said if the Rays are looking to add on at the roster for bullpen help anywhere else, the Guardians could be a trading partner. The Rays have history with them. Yeah, I saw some of those mock trades on Twitter, which saw like Stephen Kwan and Emmanuel Clase for the Rays, like 4 of the Rays' top 8 prospects in their system. I don't think the Rays would do that. Actually, I know for a fact the Rays would not do that. But Gary also says they could definitely win the next 2 games, which would be great to come out of Detroit with 2 out of 3. It would be just massive, absolutely massive for the Rays to go 2 out of 3. Look, the Rays have 6 games left in this road trip. They need a bare minimum to go 3-3 during this stretch. They need to stay. I think they're 7 games above 500 right now. Yeah. So they need at minimum to stay 7 games above 500. You hope to go 4-2 during this little mini stretch. So again, we set goals throughout a winning road trip. I think it's going to be basically you're 1-4 at this point. You basically need to win out for a winning road trip, but you focus on going 3-3 or 4-2 during this next 6-game stretch. And I really think you put yourself in a really good position going into the All-Star break and then toward I know it's technically already been the midway point, but the second half post All-Star break. As Mike talks about, they've only used Fairbanks 1 inning in the last 5 games. So he's, it was an inning 2/3, which he doesn't do often. So there's 0% chance he was going to pitch today, even if it was close. But, like I said, I think this is the healthiest the Rays bullpen is going to be post Manny Rodriguez injury, obviously. They need length out of Pepio, but if he goes 6 innings, man, you can roll out, you set a Clevenger Fairbanks and feel pretty good. Orsi in there as well if they actually want to throw Orsi. I think, Eric Nylander basically took away Mason Montgomery, so he stops putting him in over Eric Orsi, I think is what happened. I'm just kidding, obviously. But definitely the best position this bullpen has been. As Alexander says, nothing but pain. It has been a lot of pain lately, but I think this team can turn around, and I expect the offense to be significantly better tomorrow. It was kind of an embarrassing performance today. Only the 1 extra base hit, just not putting a lot of things together. I mean, the Rays only got 4 batters to the plate. I think more than 4 batters to the plate. I think 1 time this game, maybe 2. So you kind of knew it right away when Yandy gets infield single, and then Aranda immediately grounds into double play in the first inning. It's like, oh, man, it's going to be one of those games, isn't it? And it ended up being one of those. So hopefully the Rays bounce back tomorrow. We're going to get out of here. I appreciate everyone for joining live. If you guys are in the live, make sure you leave a like and comment, and we'll be right back tomorrow night, hopefully after a Rays win. I very much hope after a Rays win. Tomorrow is one of those games, kind of like the second game in Minnesota, where the Rays blew the lead, where it's like, there's no such thing as must-win games since July, but it's one of those like, man, it would be really nice if the Rays could pick this one up and not have to worry about avoiding a sweep going into Wednesday, but more we could talk about how the Rays can win a series going into Wednesday. So that's what we'll be looking forward to. Again, if you guys just joined the live, make sure to go back and watch the whole replay. A lot to talk about in this one as well. And if you guys have made it all the way then, wherever you may be watching, thank you so much. Leave a like and comment, and I will see you guys tomorrow night.